Welcome to the day after talking Duck sports. And well, we had a basketball game yesterday, we had a volleyball game yesterday, and then we had a bunch of news yesterday. So let's start off with the volleyball game. Man, it was so close. They're so close, and then but they just weren't quite in rhythm enough. And Wisconsin at home played an extremely good game. The first set, it was just back and forth the whole way. Wisconsin ended up winning the first set. Second set, Oregon had a lead and then kind of gave it up at the end, and it was just point, and then they lost the second set. Oregon comes back and wins the third set. Fourth set kind of got away from them. You could kind of tell they were kind of tired, and it's hard to come back from two games down. But I mean, this is the first time that Oregon has been back to the consecutive uh, 16 or whatever they call it, or eight. Sorry, eight, a grade eight or something. I don't know. All these names are trademarks, so they can't use like Elite Eight or whatever. But they got to the second. They got to the 18 part for the second time consecutively. Consecutively, that's the first time for Oregon, so that's a huge accomplishment. I feel bad for those girls because they were just so close. That game was just so competitive. But yeah. And then number one seed Stanford lost, was the only one seed to lose. So there's no representative in the four teams left in in the volleyball for the Pac-12 in their final year. That's unfortunate, but that's how things go. Okay, so got the volleyball out of the way. We'll talk some football then. So, Dillion Gabriel transferring from Oklahoma to Oregon has been confirmed. That is a done deal. So, Oregon again has a super experienced quarterback manning the helm next year. But that has pushed Ty Thompson into the transfer portal. He acknowledged that he was doing that, and so he will no longer be a Duck. Unfortunate that we didn't quite see the development or quite get to see what he was capable of in a real game. But I mean, that's the environment of big time football right now. I mean, you have a lot of top QBs transferring in their last 2 years. I think Cam Ward was headed to where did USC maybe? So he's going from Washington State to USC, and then USC, Oregon, UCLA, and Washington will all be in the Big Ten next year. Now, do I blame Oregon for not giving Ty Thompson a chance? And I kind of look at like this. If the Pac-12 was here one more year or more years, if the Pac-12 wasn't ending this year, I I then would give a little more on Ty Thompson's side and say that Oregon shouldn't have went to the transfer portal, and they should have developed somebody from internal, even if that means that you don't have the greatest season in the world to build for next year. However, this is a transition year for those four schools: UCLA, USC, Washington, and Oregon. And you don't want to start off in a brand new league with a brand new quarterback getting dominated your first year. That's just not how you want to start in a new conference. So now, if you look at it that way, you're getting Dillion Gabriel, one of the most experienced. In fact, he will be the most experienced in college football history next year if he doesn't get hurt and he earns the starting job like he's supposed to do, right? He will actually have more starts at the end of the season than Bo Nix will. He's a dual threat kind of guy. Not like a complete dual threat, but uh, he is a big enough guy that he'll run to contact, kind of like Jeremiah Masoli. I think I heard him if they were talking about a play style, not a Vernon Adams style, but a Jeremiah Masoli style. He's got a rocket arm. He's got legs. He can score either way. But Oregon, I think, will try to keep him upright throughout the year and probably won't let him do too many called runs for, it might be like if a pass breaks down or something where he'll run it or something. But that's one thing. But so yeah, I think with the transition to the Big Ten, you wanting to start off in a new league on a good foot. You have a few huge games, where I think Ohio State shows up at Oregon and Oregon goes to Michigan, and you want a QB that has seen that kind of thing. Plus, it gives these younger QBs that do stay at Oregon a chance to kind of get their feet wet into these new leagues where you don't really know what you're going to expect. With the addition of those 4 schools, the Big Ten with 20 schools, I don't even know how many schools I have anymore. It's a premier league. So yeah, you can't be kind of messing around with that, and I don't disagree with Oregon taking a experienced signal caller that they think will help them win a bunch of games next year and hopefully make that 12-team playoff. Where does Oregon have to finish to get the 12-team playoff? I don't have any idea how that's going to work or how that's going to play out. I don't think Oregon wins the Big Ten in their first year. I think they lose probably. I think they lose to Michigan at Michigan. I think they beat Ohio State at home, and then I think they take a loss somewhere. Maybe like I don't even know what their schedule is, so it's hard to kind of say. Okay, I guess we better look that up real quick. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves in talking about what they're going to do next year. But let's just take a look. Of course, that won't show us next year's schedule, will it? Okay, give me one. Okay, so we got the schedule up. And Oregon has an extra game because of Hawaii. So, first game is they play Hawaii at Hawaii. So, they'll win. They play in Eugene, they get Idaho. They play in Eugene, they get Texas Tech. They play in Eugene, they get Boise State. They go to UCLA. I think Oregon wins that game. Then Michigan State comes. Oregon wins that game against brand new coach. Brand new coach for Michigan State. And then Ohio State comes in. I think they win that game. And so here's the thing is Oregon can't be looking ahead to Ohio State when they play Michigan State. And then right afterward, they go to Purdue. Watch that Purdue game because after a big win against Ohio State, that Purdue game is very dangerous. And then they play Illinois, and then they go to Michigan. I think that one's the one that you mark up as a loss. Because going to Michigan at the end of the season, you're probably beat up a little bit. That one's going to be a hard one. They play Maryland. They win that game. They go to Wisconsin, another dangerous game. And then they come back at home and they play Washington. I think it looks like if Oregon stays healthy, they could, be a one-loss team. But they have to be very careful of next year's schedule. But that's a lot of games. That's an extra game because of Hawaii. So that one kind of adds that extra thing, but it gives a lot of games early for some backup quarterbacks and some players to gel together. And so, yeah, I don't know. It looks very favorable to Oregon, and but it's just going to be a tough year. But when you have a seasoned quarterback like Dillion, it's just going to be one of those things that just helps you out, and you just won't get flustered. He's played in a bunch of big games at this point, so going to those schools or playing those schools won't be something that, they're not. So that's my take on all that. and now we'll move on to what do we got? We move on to the basketball game. Oregon played UTEP yesterday, and this game, it was 25-28 at the half. And then Oregon came out in the second half, and Cousinard just really had a great game. And you could just tell that UTEP got a little tired. I think both teams got a little tired. There was a lot of defense being played in that first half. And, Oregon started shooting the ball pretty well. So Oregon goes 54% from the field, holding UTEP to 36% from the field. Oregon goes 23% from the three-point line, and the first three-pointer that they made was with like 18 minutes left in the second half. So not a great free throw or three-point shooting night for Oregon, but not much better for UTEP. They go 26%. And then free throws, Oregon much better than they have been at 76% free throw. They only left 6 points out there. That's pretty good compared. Well, that's really, really good compared to where they've been. Oregon out rebounds. They've been doing really good playing small ball. Offensive rebounds 5 to UTEP 7. They had 13 assists, 11 steals, 1 block. But they had 18 turnovers, which is really high for Oregon, but it's also part of what UTEP does with their defense. They pressure all the way through, even in the half court. Oregon had 15 fouls. So, yeah, overall, a really good game. It was a lot of fun to watch. Oregon is a lot of fun to watch, but it is one of those kind of stressful teams to watch. They are back and forth. They're gonna make mistakes. They're really young, and right now they're really small until they get a couple more guys back. I saw they had again 4 players sitting out, which limits them. Kwame Evans has been stepping in and playing really good. Shellstad is Jackson Shell. He is an excellent freshman from the Peyton Pritchard School up there in Washington, doing really good. But Jermaine Cousinard and Barthélemy have been the 2 guys that have been holding this team together. And Jermaine, when the team needs a score, he puts that big body to work. Not tall, but he's built. He puts that built body to work, and he goes inside and he forces contact. He makes buckets when they need him, and it's just been a great leader for this team so far. So they got a couple smaller teams that they play next. So not too difficult for them on their next couple games, which is good. Gives them a chance to get healthy, gives them a chance to get gelling, because the closer you get through the end of this month, the closer you get to conference play. And when conference play shows up, then it just gets a hell of a lot scarier. So Oregon plays California Baptist, and then they go to Syracuse on the 17th. They come back on the 21st and play Kent State. And then December 28th starts your conference play with USC at home. Oregon plays USC at home. So, yeah, conference play is right around the corner, and not having those 2 centers is going to hurt. But Oregon is fun to watch. They have the people to win a lot of those games. So hopefully they can just get it together. Dana Altman's a great coach. He's got them working hard, and they're just fun to watch. I enjoy them. Win, lose, or draw. I'm a Duck fan, so just have to keep it at that. But much love all. We will talk to you later. And yeah, have a good one.